Hey, what's going on, Minnesota Viking fans? Welcome to the Purple People Podcast. We haven't been able to say this for about 6 months, but football is back. So I'm really excited to get that out to you guys. I'm with my main people, as always. Dorian Foley out in California. How you doing, man?
What's going on, everybody? Skull Vikings, all that good shit. Oh, sorry. Well, yeah. I'm excited.
Can't blame me for being excited.
That's Adam Carlson out in Minnesota. What's up, man?
Not too much. Got to check out that night practice. That was a lot of fun.
I'm
Really
jealous
fun.
you got to go, but I'm glad you had a fun time.
Yes.
We got first row when we went, so it was extra fun.
Nice.
Tavares King, nice guy.
Oh, okay.
Minnesota Vikings receiver Tavares King.
I got you. I'm sorry. I keep jumping in. I didn't want to leave Kyle out. What's up, Kyle? Where are you coming
Hey, I'm Iowa. Yeah.
from? Yeah, okay. I got it all right then. That rounds up this motley crew that we have here on the Purple People Podcast. Thank you guys for joining in. For anybody that's currently listening in the chat, this is episode number 313 called Bravechart, the unofficial depth chart. The first one is out now. We'll go over that later.
Do any of us even have the chat up?
I don't.
I'll do that right now. I never get on the chat, so I'll do that right now.
All right, because I just pulled it up too. Because, yeah, we should probably know if people are saying things to us.
That's the whole point. That's what makes the show fun, is when you guys interact with us.
Yeah, that's always.
We do have our usuals here already, which is nice.
Nice. Give them a shout out, Adam.
No way. Make them earn it. We've given them too many layups in the past. It's time for some slam dunks.
Basically, send us money at the Purple People Pot. I'm kidding. Don't do that.
Yeah, we tried that already, and
Yeah.
Mountain Dew and Taco Bell told us to piss off. So I'm gonna make my way down until I find a sponsor for the show. I don't even care. I'll have like 5 shirts on and be like, this week it's Pepsi.
I'm sure you can get us Purina or something, right?
You know what? That's a solid sell. I should work on that. The only problem, I don't want to. Maybe my dog can benefit from it. That would be pretty sweet. We do have one person in the chat. We'll give him a shout out. Yang Ya, she said, "What's up, guys?"
Yang Ya,
always there. You know why Yang is always there? Because he hits that little bell icon on YouTube and he lets himself get notified when we go live. That's why.
Thank you for explaining how YouTube works. That's my favorite part of every YouTube video.
Yeah,
I like the beginning when they say, and if we reach 200 likes on this video, I'm going to do the next one shirtless with a banana on my head.
Jeff and I always joke about that over on the Shut Up I Like This podcast, where we're like, we're not going to explain to you guys how YouTube works. Like, it's fucking 10 years old. You guys know how YouTube works.
If people want to subscribe, turn on notifications, they're going to.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right. I feel like those guys who always pitch it at the end, too, is like and subscribe and comment and blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, my gosh. No. You killed everything.
You know that's money. That's why they shield like that. Like with every.
Yeah, we're one of the few people out there that don't monetize our stuff.
Nope.
Yep, this is all
here because
hearts.
We're here because we like to do this shit, and it is fun.
Correct.
That is it. It is it.
YouTube doesn't care about us. It's like we're like.
No.
You know.
Well, let's get into some quick hits as we always do. There's some interesting ones this week.
Did we announce this week's title and stuff?
No, sir.
Yes, I did.
Did we?
Oh, okay.
We should do it again because I forgot what episode number it is.
Episode number 313 entitled Bravechart, because we're going to talk about the unofficial.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you did do that. I do remember now.
That's right. That's right.
But in case you wondered, yes, we've been around for 313 episodes.
313.
Because I was listening to some football podcast the other day on my iPhone, and they were talking.
Is it Katie Nolan again?
God, I love Katie.
Yes.
Thank you for bringing that up. Thank you for brightening my day. No, it wasn't Katie Nolan. I forget who these guys are, but they said, "Oh man, we're on episode number 578, and I still like you guys." And I was like, "I feel like we're getting there." I mean, we're kind of sort of hitting that spot now. So
I'm guessing that's probably one of those podcasts that do more than one a week, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a weird thing because everybody just likes to push it out for content, but yeah, we'll see. I think we can beat that record. I think we will beat that record. I'm pretty excited.
Fingers crossed.
But let's talk about quick hits now. Let's talk about Nick Easton. He's going to get a second opinion for his neck and back injuries. As most of you guys know, he's been sidelined during camp because of this. Easton missed Saturday's practice and being held out along with Pat Elflein and Mike Rimmers. The biggest concern right now, if you're a Vikings fan, is you're not really worried about the rest of the offense gelling. You know the defense is going to be good. There's some pretty good competition, and Adam will talk about that in a little bit because he had to see it firsthand. But if this offensive line isn't shored up quick, fast, and in a hurry, there's going to be a lot of problems. So I'm hoping that we'll hear good news about Nick Easton. And the guys that are out now, just want to get them ready for week 1. They still have 4 more weeks till we start the season. So that's a good uplifting sign. But a lot of offensive linemen out there banged up right now.
Yeah, you guys know that I am a big supporter of Nick Easton. He is one of the better pass blocking guards in the NFL, I believe. He has some ways to improve when it comes to his run blocking, but I think that if he's healthy, we all have our strengths and weaknesses. Yeah. We all do. Like, my strength is I can write stuff online. My weakness is Buffalo Wild Wings. Good stuff.
And bingo, as I learned tonight. Adam Carlson's a big fan of the bingo.
Oh, I'll play bingo.
Yeah.
Hey, bingo is awesome. It's fucking awesome. And money. There's money involved. You can win.
That's right.
$5
good stuff
at Hometown Buffet on Sundays.
But yeah, Nick Easton's injury, it's something that I guess they want to hold him out for at least a couple games of the preseason. I would not be surprised if he sat out nearly all of them, to be honest. And the fact that I believe they've already announced that Pat Elflein is going to be missing the first 2 games of the preseason as well. So we will see some new faces during the preseason lining up to protect the quarterback and create running holes, which I believe is not a bad thing because getting these guys experience, being able to evaluate them is all right. Nick Easton, he's enough of an NFL veteran where he's been there a couple of years. He knows what he's doing. He can play those multiple positions, and it's flashing really bright on the TV behind me. I should just shut that off. Dang. But yeah.
Hey, is this your first episode from your new apartment?
No, I did last week from here too.
Oh, see, I cut out last week. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, you were MIA, sir.
Yeah.
It's okay.
You gave us our annual twofer episode that we have.
Our 2-parter, which is always fun.
No, Hey, before we get into this next quick hit and it gets all serious and we talk some junk about people, I have a Facebook question, and I think everyone should try to figure this out. My friend that just came through here down in El Paso says, "Do sharks have butts?" I'm asking for my 3-year-old. Does anybody know the answer to this question?
If they poop, they got butts. That's my rule.
That's a good rule, Adam. I'll agree with you.
All right. So
that's the chat one.
This next one's going to start a little bit of drama, as if it didn't already cause a poop storm. But Richie Incognito, former offensive lineman for was he the Bills and the Dolphins? Was it the Dolphins too?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Yeah, his last stint was with the Bills. He was also with the Dolphins before that. He's a 4-time Pro Bowler, but he's had his issues mentally. We just call him unstable. There's been a lot of good stuff. He had the Jonathan Martin incident, which was awful. A little bit crazy. And there were some rumors floating around saying that the Vikings had mutual interest with Richie Incognito to bring him in because of the offensive line problems, which I mentioned earlier. Well, Mike Zimmer was asked about this today, and Chris Thomason, of all people, actually asked a decent question. And he said, no interest and totally false. There was about a 5-second pause, and Mike Zimmer goes, "Tweet that." Pretty awesome. Everybody, if you're a Vikings fan, you know you love Mike Zimmer, and he's not a big fan of doing press of any kind, but he was pretty straightforward. Well, later on, after that came out today, Richie Incognito put out a not safe for work tweet that said a tweet that says Mike Zimmer is an effing liar, and posted some screenshots from the late Tony Sperano that seemed very one-sided, with Richie attempting to get a spot on the Vikings roster. I saw these are very short answers by the late great Sperano. a lot of kissing butt, which is funny for him to say that Mike Zimmer's an effing liar, but then to talk about him to Tony Sperano like, man, Mike Zimmer's the man. I know it would be great if I got to work up there. It was just a mess today.
And the only thing I saw about Mike Zimmer in that series of messages was him saying that he likes Zimmer. That's it.
And I would also like to point out that this is allegedly a conversation with Tony Sperano. We have no idea.
There are apps where you can create those dialogues. Those do exist. Yeah. Yes. But I don't know why you'd create that, because it didn't make him look that great.
And why would you tweet your number?
I mean,
yeah, that was the other.
I called his phone.
Kyle
I called his phone number, by the way.
Ricky Incognito today with no answer. We tried to get him on the show. Why? Why not? Because he's crazy enough to do that. And he doesn't have any ties to the NFL anymore since he retired. So he actually would have – I don't know how long we would have lasted to keep him on, because he's kind of a nutcase. But a lot of bad things happening, some bullying down in Miami. And then recently this year there was an incident where he threw a weight in a gym because I guess somebody was in his gym.
See, there's his ties to Minnesota then. There's weight throwing in Minnesota.
Where's Brad Childress?
Him and Percy Harvin must have the same agent. That's probably it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so if you guys are out there, this is my little gripe. It wouldn't even be considered a rant. It's just I follow a lot of Viking pages on Instagram, which is really cool to see. There's so many fans, but a lot of it is a lot of younger kids, probably teenage, probably boys, just trying to get these out there and get likes and clicks, because that's what the world revolves in social media now, is attention and then gratification. They'll steal a lot of the same articles word for word and photos from each other. A lot of these things are just same recycled crap. But a lot of places online, and Adam, I want to get your opinion on this. And does it bother you, and what can you do to stop it? Because a lot of these places already reported this. Oh, the Vikings are interested in Richie Incognito, and he's interested. It's mutual. That was never the case. And at least for the evidence we have right now on Tuesday, August 7th, it was never that. It was a one-sided deal, but yet people are still out here reporting it like, oh, man, we've got an inside source. No, you heard a rumor, and then you tried to make it official. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the way we handled it on the Viking Age was that we handled completely as a rumor, and that it was something that was apparent. Adam Patrick tackled that topic, which was, good of him. He's good at tackling those topics where they might be controversial in some ways, or maybe not, 100% established. So he grabbed the story about Richie Incognito saying that he was contacted by the Vikings, and from there we haven't really gone any further into depth in it, because right now we could say Mike Zimmer refuted it. We could say Richie Incognito called him a liar. We could be doing all that just for clicks, but to be honest, right now there's nothing else that really ties back to the Vikings at all with it. As far as any repercussions, as far as training camp, we're better off focusing on the players that are in camp, what the season's going to mean, the current depth chart, the way it is, and everything. There's so much more to talk about than Richie Incognito. And personally, I guess to put it out there, I don't see the point in really talking about Richie Incognito at all, because it's pointless. I don't see him coming to Minnesota ever. I don't see him returning to the NFL ever. I don't see him being a mentally stable person. I don't see him fitting into an NFL locker room. I don't see the benefit of him being part of a team. I mean, if you could get to Richie Incognito that was playing on the offensive line, shut his mouth and did his job, great. But I don't think that guy exists.
Bully his teammates. Yeah, there's just a lot of baggage with this guy. I think you said it best. He's just not mentally all there, or if he is all there, it's just not right and correct. There's a lot of stuff that's, to me personally, it's screaming for some help. He even said it today. He's like, I'm bored. Why won't anybody pay attention to me? And then he puts his phone number on the internet, and then I don't know if he just doesn't have friends or doesn't know how to express himself, or he just got something on his chest he didn't know how to get off. But that was not a thing. A lot of people were for, and a lot of people were against Richie Incognito coming to the Vikings. I think it was pretty consensus here amongst us. Hey, man, you might be talented, but we don't need the baggage you bring. We don't want you. And Yeah, I'm with you, man. Unless you guys have something else on it, we can just wash our hands of that. Thank God that guy didn't come anywhere close to getting signed by us.
No, that was a weird, odd topic, and I think it's only going to be a today news story. Like after this, there's nothing more to talk about. I think we've got it. I think we can move on.
Awesome.
Agreed.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you guys wanted an update on our $84 million quarterback, there's some news from Adam Thielen, our star wide receiver for the Vikings. And he said, and quote, he's been doing a phenomenal job trying to get on the same page as Cousins on the field. He also said, quote, I think me personally, I need to do a better job for him. We talk about it a lot in the receiver room, just making sure that we're making plays so he feels comfortable throwing to any of us. So nothing too crazy out there, but it's cool to see that they're trying to gel and get on the same page because
I like it. I like the quote because I like the work ethic that shows that Adam Thielen has, where, you know, he's him and Diggs, they're the top two receivers on the team, and he is still approaching this with, I have more work to do. I can get better. I'm not doing a good enough job. He's not just sitting back and going, well, hey, I'm ready to go for next season. I'm fine. I'm going to take a bunch of time off. That's not Adam Thielen. That's not our lock. Guys are ready to work. That's what Mike Zimmer preaches, and that's the kind of talent and individuals that he wants on this team.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you see that work ethic from him all the time, whether it's in practice and he's taking time to show routes to Tavares King or Stacey Coley or whoever. I mean, the amount of effort he's willing to put in and what he's willing to do to help the people around him be better is amazing. You don't get players like that every day.
Mm-hmm. No, you really don't.
Mike Zimmer was talking about Kirk Cousins today as well. It was pretty cool. I watched that same thing where he was talking about the Twitter stuff and the tweet that. He's talking about the differences between Case and Kirk, which is cool. Is, you know, we face the Broncos this coming weekend for preseason week 1, and he had nothing but good things to say about Case Keenum. Said he made a lot of plays and said Kirk is as advertised, throws the ball deep, and he's just been working really, really hard to get on the same page. I have no doubt, but the question really isn't, is Kirk Cousins going to get, you know, where we all want him to be? I have no doubt about that. I think the question is just when. But with quotes like this from a guy like Adam Thielen, it makes you feel a little bit better because they're putting in a lot of work to get there. So,
isn't it crazy that first preseason game you got Case Keenum heading up the other team? Then the Vikings have Trevor Siemian and Kyle Sloter, who used to be Broncos.
Yeah, I thought about that too. And interesting how the NFL works, isn't it?
It really is.
I wouldn't expect too much from Kirk Cousins or many of the ones, but you're definitely going to see some Trevor Siemian action. Definitely going to see some Kyle Sloter this weekend. So.
I think we could see a quarter, maybe a series or two, if that doesn't last a quarter. But yeah, I don't expect to see a lot from the first team offense.
I always wanted the Vikings to put Adrian Peterson in like the fourth quarter in like a deep preseason game, and just to let him rip through some guys that aren't going to make the NFL for like an 80-yard touchdown run. That would have been amazing.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
He's not there to crush everybody's souls.
You'd have rookies quitting after that.
I'm done. I ain't tackling this. I'm done. I'm out.
Speaking of Case Keenum, he talked about playing the Vikings on Saturday. He said, no, it's not going to be weird. I'm just going to see if Diggs will maybe take me out to dinner. So it'd be nice to have them in here and play them on Saturday. That's awesome, man. We had absolutely nothing bad to say about Case Keenum when he was putting that crazy, the second best season we've ever seen from the Vikings.
Yeah, that's pretty much the same thing Kyle Sloter said, is that he's more looking forward to seeing the guys he used to play with rather than looking at it as some kind of weird revenge kind of thing. Which I still really always feel like those revenge storylines are something drawn up by the local medias to try to get clicks and, you know, build drama for an upcoming game. I don't think a lot of these guys really care.
I don't think so either. There's a couple times like well, maybe when Peterson came back to play against Minnesota,
right? I
think he really wanted to stick it to us, but not. I don't think as much as what the media talks about.
Yeah, I don't think there was some drama over the weekend over where I'm from in Carolina. Kelvin Benjamin said some pretty crappy things about Cam Newton over the weekend. You just don't hear that from a lot of the guys that play for the Vikings unless it's somebody stupid like Matt Khalil and, you know, good riddance. I've never heard anything bad come from Case Keenum, man. He's a classy dude, and he gave us a hell of a year last year. So best of luck with him in Denver.
Absolutely.
Most definitely.
Former Vikings wide receiver Greg Jennings is selected for Western Michigan's Hall of Fame. That's pretty cool. He's a Super Bowl champ with the Packers. Played for us a little bit. Where else did he go to? Was he Miami?
Miami. That was his last team.
Yep.
Most widely known for being a Packer, but he came over when the Teddy Bridgewater era started. He still had a couple flashes of his former self, being shifty and scoring a touchdown here or there, and then breaking him out for a big gain. But that's pretty cool. He was tied to us for 2 years, so congrats to Greg Jennings. I'm sure if you win a Super Bowl, it's probably going to be a no-brainer. Western Michigan's going to put you in their Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Teddy Bridgewater loved Greg Jennings. His route running, where he knew he was going to be, where he was going to be, that was one of the more solid connections that we saw on the team.
Adam Thielen talked about how Greg Jennings helped him achieve that next level status in the NFL as well too. And Greg kind of took him in and was a mentor, and taught him and helped him along with the Vikings as well too. So I know maybe the numbers weren't quite what people wanted with Greg Jennings, but I still think his time with the team was important.
Oh, absolutely. Now you see Adam Thielen passing his knowledge on to the other young guys, which is awesome.
Yep.
Exactly. Very beneficial.
That's great.
So Thielen's going to be with us for a long time. He ain't going nowhere.
I don't know, man. He's got a contract coming up here. What? He only signed a 3-year, right?
I guess I don't know offhand.
I hope
we need to pay. So that's it. I think that's simple. We need to pay him. If he resigns, then we can all feel confident in getting Adam Thielen jersey for the future.
What's up with Sergio Moreno in the chat? What's up, dude?
Always nice to have him here. He's wondering if we're excited for the preseason, and nah.
I mean, an appetizer's good, but I want the entree. All right, that's what I'm ready for.
Whatever. I like potatoes. I like potatoes.
Yeah,
You know what, Dorian? I will not take your potato skins away. While I eat my filet mignon, you have those potato skins, sir. I can't get too high for it. They don't mean anything. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Half these guys that are playing, I'm just like, either you're not gonna make it, or I don't know who you are. But it's nice to see a Viking uniform on a field, so that's cool.
But I am curious of one thing with preseason. Well, I'm interested to see if Trevor Siemian will be indeed a solid number 2 to Kirk Cousins.
I don't know if you guys have been checking out USA Today, Viking Wire. They do some good work over there. They actually went through and did some statistic work, and they put out an article comparing and wondering if Trevor Siemian is the best backup quarterback in the NFL.
That's cool.
I don't think that's possible with Nick Foles winning a Super Bowl, but sure, he's got to be up there in the top 5.
Yeah, top five.
And then a couple of my friends are Bronco fans here at work. The military bringing a bunch of guys from different places around. He said, he wasn't good enough to start, full time, which eventually why he got traded or whatever, acquired by us. But I'm taking into account 2 things when I think about that. Number one, I think about the offensive line in Denver, which was not good the last couple of years. After that Super Bowl win, they've steadily gone downhill. And then number 2, I take into account my friends because they're Bronco experts and I am not. If you need somebody to come off the bench and give you a game or 2, that's when he shined in his short career. So that made me happy to hear because, knock on wood, Kirk Cousins won't be having to come out of many games. So,
well, you got to look at it this way too. What was the last quarterback that Denver drafted that led the team to anything?
I have no idea. Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow's good 5 games.
And they went to the playoffs with Tim Tebow, beat the Steelers.
I can never count that one. I'm sorry. I hate to do the asterisk there, but Tim Tebow didn't do anything for that team. That defense was solid. And it
wasn't John Elway because he was drafted by the Colts, I believe, right?
Right.
he refused to play. Yeah, and they got his rights traded to Denver. So who was the quarterback that?
I wonder sometimes if Denver is that place where they just can't grow and develop a quarterback. For a while there, we wondered that in Minnesota. If Minnesota was a place where we just couldn't get wide receivers to get on the right page. And now Minnesota's figured out that wide receiver thing. But meanwhile, Denver still has not been able to develop a quarterback at all. So it makes you wonder, did they miss out on some talent that just kind of slid through the cracks that they just weren't able to capture?
Possibly.
Sounds like it.
Well,
Why are we talking about? We're always talking negatively about Cleveland. We should be talking about the Broncos not being able to draft a quarterback. New controversy. Let's start.
Oh, it's bad. It is bad.
I hope for their sake that Baker Mayfield is that quarterback. Like just to stop something. Just
for Cleveland.
Just stop the bleed. Just stop the bleeding somewhere. Like I hope that Baker Mayfield is that.
Cleveland could have had him at 4. They could have had the best player available in the draft at 1.
They didn't do it.
Yeah, but they, them being Cleveland, they couldn't let that happen.
Oh my goodness! I still sit here shaking my head at that draft because I don't get it.
They always think they're right. That's the definition of insanity, guys. We've went over this before. Doing the same thing over and over again. You think it's going to get better and produce something different. It's not going to happen. I don't know. Their free agency moves are cool. Cleveland will be interesting, but
well, when Cleveland trades all their draft picks for money, and then they just go and grab all the players that are any good.
That recent trade, if you guys didn't hear, they had I think he was a number 1 a couple years ago, Corey Coleman, like 15th or 16th overall, got him for a 7th round pick. There are some guys out there talking about that same podcast I was listening to. I can't remember what it was. And they said this might be the worst trade of all time. And
it's bad. It's bad.
Would that go be for Cleveland? Buffalo, he went to Buffalo, by the way, that wide receiver. And they need wide receivers in Buffalo. Buffalo might be the worst team in the league this year, by the way. Just go ahead and throw that out there. They might
not with that defense. No way.
They don't have a quarterback.
Peterman.
People said the same thing when Sam Bradford went down. Vikings don't have a quarterback. They got a good defense, but they're going to suck.
Oh, they don't have any wide receivers. I mean, Josh Allen was awful in college. I don't know why he went at 7. A.J. McCarron is awful. And then Nathan Peterman, I don't have to say anything about that guy. He was trash last year. Good luck, Buffalo. I give you 1 win this season.
Oh, wow.
I'm telling you, man, they're going to be really bad. And well, look what happened with LaShawn McCoy. What happens if he gets fucking taken off the roster, too? They're going to be awful. Oof.
I don't know, man. I don't see them as being that bad. Now, the Jets could be awful.
They got Teddy. They'll be fine. They'll win the AFC East, man.
I like the way you think.
I wish. Man. I don't know if he's going to start there. That's weird.
That and I am not a believer in Denver, and not Denver, but I'm not a believer in Miami this year. Not a believer at all.
Ryan Tannehill is coming back, so they're going to be awesome. Come on.
Oh, Ryan Tannehill. He can throw to whatever 3rd-string wide receiver they got starting.
We're just beating down all these teams. We gotta get back on track. So now here on the Purple People Podcast, a podcast about the Minnesota Vikings.
Hey, at least I'm mentioning teams that the Vikings are going to go up against. That's not so bad.
That's true. Yes, that's all we were doing. Adam was tying the season around together since we played the AFC East.
I just want to let you guys know something. Randy Moss is in the Hall of Fame. I just want to say that.
Woo.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Yes.
And he went off and said there's no loyalty in the NFL, and if people knew the true reason why he went in as a Minnesota Viking, they wouldn't believe him. So I don't know. That guy, I mean, he could just do his thing, but he's got to add that Randy Moss spice to things.
I don't know what you're talking about, because literally every major sports network was praising Randy Moss for his Hall of Fame speech.
This wasn't the Hall of Fame
speech. Like Skip Bayless and everyone was talking about how they learned so much about Moss and about how he practically stole the show. So I don't know what you're talking about, dude.
All right.
No, I didn't hear that. Everybody
should be happy.
Everybody was talking about Ray Lewis, and then who's the Brian Dawkins? That's the one that I.
Yeah, Brian Dawkins. That
would not enter my screen at all. It was Brian Dawkins' speech, and then it was Ray Lewis and his Garth Brooks microphone, and how much he sweat. And I get hair color in because it's pretty obvious that he colored his hair. Come on, Ray, you're better than that. Don't do that.
Well, speaking of hair, did you see that thing on Brian Urlacher's head? Like
that thing called Brian Urlacher. You got to put some respect on that, man. That's Hall of Fame Brian Urlacher now.
Hey, Hall of Fame, my nuts. Anyways.
He talked about that this morning on I think it was Golden Wingo. He's like, "What was the first thing that you did when you found the news?" He's like, "I looked for the nearest fan so I could put HOF on whatever I signed, and I didn't even ask. I just threw it."
There you go.
These guys are probably like that, though.
I wonder if that was the way one of the fans like found out. That'd be amazing.
Wouldn't that be when you get the news like, "Hey, you're gonna be enshrined in Pro Football Hall of Fame"? Like, let's just go to the mall in my town and just sign stuff and let people know, like, right now.
Right. Before the media grabs a hold of it, before the Hall of Fame announces it, just writing Hall of Fame on stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know, though, that new Hall of Fame rule, I don't know if they're going to put that in place, but I do think that there should be a representative there. Even like, let's say T.O. didn't want to show up. They should have had someone accepted on T.O.'s behalf.
Yeah, that was petty on both parts. I mean, if it's based off of, hey, do you get in because of your stats? And they should be about, oh, we didn't like what your personality was. Did you go on the football field and dominate for a very long time? Yes. I think it was petty on the NFL's part, man. Just let the guy be himself. It's not like you got to deal with him anymore. He's been out of the league for 5 years and he's not coming back now. So I thought that was kind of crazy. But I mean, I guess going back to Chattanooga was fun for him. That's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Dorian mentioned it. Randy Moss, former Viking wide receiver in the Hall of Fame. Very nice speech by him. So congrats to Randy Moss. Let's talk about this depth chart, though, because that is our main topic for the day. We're going to go through every position, offense, defense, and special teams. You guys are ready. We'll just dive right into it.
Yeah. Like Adam said in the chat, maybe not much for surprises, but it's still fun to look at, like, the first time we get a depth chart that comes out from the team.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's that excitement of, man, football's almost here because they're going to cut it. What is this? What number? What are the numbers that there's 2 cuts to the final man? So
Not anymore.
Oh,
Just the one cut.
One big cut, man.
Yep.
Really? Okay, that's something new. I forgot about that for this year. So it'll give them more time to evaluate. I think it makes it harder for them. Honestly, you can kind of.
I do too.
You can live with the decision because what did it go from before? 90 something to 70 to 50 something.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you've already cut ties with those guys and either put them on the practice squad, it seemed like it would just be like, all right, man, I had to do it. It sucked for that couple of minutes having to cut the guy, but now we can move on. I don't like to do it once more, but man, this is bittersweet. It's a double-edged sword. But let's go down the list real quick. At quarterback, we have the $84 million man, Kirk Cousins. He's going to be the quarterback 1.
What?
Right now,
Wow.
quarterback 2 is Trevor Siemian. Quarterback 3 is Kyle Sloter. Quarterback 4 is Peter Pujols.
Yeah.
Oh, just read that.
He's
name.
a guy.
He is a guy. He is a guy.
And I do think that the Vikings are going to carry the 3 quarterbacks, and I do think that Peter Pujols is going to be on the outside looking in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry, Peter.
That's a solid prediction. I think that's across the board here. I would agree with that too. Let's talk about wide receivers. Let's talk about the outside wide receivers first. Wide receiver 1 for the outside, we have Adam Thielen, followed by Laquan Treadwell, followed by Stacey Coley. And that 4th spot is up for grabs between Tavares King, Corey Robertson, and Jake Weineke. What a great name.
No surprises there. The people that have been at the Vikings longer, up higher on the depth chart. It is kind of interesting to see Tavares King a little lower considering his experience. I figured he'd be a little more on par with Stacey Coley, so that's probably one of the only things that was a little surprising. But otherwise, yeah, nothing here that's going to be jaw-dropping.
As far as slot wide receivers, number 1, Stephon Diggs, no surprise there. Number 2, Kendall Wright, exactly where I wanted him to be. Number 3, Brandon Zylstra. 4, Caleb Jones. And 5, Jeff Badet, or Badet, I don't know how you say that, and Chad Beebe.
If you guys have been paying attention to training camp, you'll know that Brandon Zylstra and Caleb Jones have been really doing a great job of getting on the same page with Kirk Cousins. I think those two guys are going to be fighting neck and neck for that wide receiver 5 job. It's going to be quite interesting to watch.
Lots of depth in that wide receiver room for the Vikings, for sure.
I have no problem bringing a talented young guy in as the Vikings' 5th receiver when they've got, you know, 2 of the best wide receivers in the league. They got a veteran in Kendall Wright. They've got a young guy that's finally getting healthy in Laquan Treadwell. Yeah, bring on that project guy in the 5th spot. I'm cool with that.
I was just happy to see that right behind Stephon Diggs is Kendall Wright. That's exactly where he should be. He's going to take old Jarris Wright's spot. It looks like. We'll see. He's still got to earn his spot, no doubt, but he was one of my favorite offseason additions, so that was good to see there. And like you were talking about Brandon Zylstra, Caleb Jones, all these guys fighting for those last wide receiver spots. And you just keep seeing more and more because these guys are getting all the reps throughout training camp before the preseason starts. Some of those guys have been shining, so we'll ask Adam here shortly because he was there at the practice not too long ago. Get his thoughts on that. Fullback, we have C.J. Ham and Johnny Stanton. I'm willing to guess that Johnny will probably go to the practice squad or somewhere else. C.J. Ham will stay.
Yeah, I think Johnny's going to get cut, but I think the Vikings will hold on to his phone number just in case.
Running back, no surprise here. Dalvin Cook is listed at the top. Right below him is Latavius Murray. Mac Brown at the running back 3 spot. Brock Thomas at 4 and Mike Boone 5.
I think this is another situation where you've got the veteran a little bit higher than the rookie, Rock Thomas. Haven't heard a ton about him yet in camp. Mac Brown, of course, has those ties to Kirk Cousins, a little bit more veteran experience. Really, I think it's going to come down to those two for that 3rd running back spot, and that's going to be a fun one to watch in preseason. I'm excited to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think they'll have kind of last year's setup. I know, big shock and spoiler alert. Bold take here, a fullback and C.J. Ham, and then they'll have 3 running backs between the stable. Maybe a 4th, but I doubt it. 3 running backs and a fullback sounds like plenty.
Yeah, whoever doesn't make the cut between Mac Brown and Rock Thomas, I think they're going to try to slide onto that practice squad.
Tight end going here. We have Kyle Rudolph at number 1, no surprise. David Morgan as the backup. The Belldozer, Blake Bell and Tyler Conklin. They're tied at the 3rd spot here. And 4th, we have Josiah Price and Tyler Hobbs. So,
Josiah Price always seems to show up, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. That's another position where there's a lot of depth, a lot of talent, and where people have been wondering a lot if the Vikings are going to be keeping 4 tight ends or what the plan is going to be moving forward. So that's a position to watch in preseason.
I think this all depends on the special teams depth because Blake Bell is a solid tight end, but Tyler Conklin, David Morgan, Kyle Rudolph, I could see them being comfortable with having those 3 in. So if special teams needs someone with a little bit more help, Blake Bell has always been a solid special teamer. So I think that's where he's going to have his chance to make the roster.
I think Tyler Conklin's going to make it just because of the draft position.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that's going to be much of an issue, but maybe these guys can be. I'm pretty happy with the tight end depth we have. I don't think I've been this happy with it in a long, long time. David Morgan is a solid backup. Does all the dirty work, like you said. Blake Bell shines. He's a good tight end, and he does special teams work. And they saw something in Tyler Conklin to take him where they took him. So I think that's my personal opinion where it's going to round out at.
Yeah, Conklin's decent blocker. Good receiver. I think that he could be a really excellent addition to an offense where if they're trying to sneak him out to get some catches.
Ooh, I wanted to throw this in now because I just reminded myself talking about tight ends. Former Vikings draft pick. Kyle, you're going to like this. Moritz Boringer. He's with the Bengals now.
Yeah.
I heard it the other day. He's beefed up, and they're trying him out at tight end over in Cincinnati. So for you guys that were Mobo fans, he's getting another shot over there, but now he's going to be a little bit bigger, which kind of feels right because he was a taller-bodied guy. But, yeah, Mobo was in the news the other day. He's going to be a tight end in the Bengals system, so let's hope he makes it over there.
Best of luck to him.
Absolutely.
It's a tough road to climb, but
we'll see how it goes for him. Let's talk about the offensive line. At left tackle, we have Riley Reef at number 1, Aviante Collins at 2, and then you got Joseph. Did I say
Good enough.
Close enough.
I don't know who that is, but good luck. I remember Aviante from last year and always seeing him. They're always picking on him in 96 questions, which is hilarious.
We also don't have right tackle on the list here.
We sure don't. I just noticed that.
Because I was going to say how left tackle and right tackle, you can see a lot of crossover there because there's usually the team will bring in a starting left tackle, starting right tackle, and then a swing tackle. That's usually the way things work. Now, right tackle is kind of an interesting spot this year because there is some debate as to who's going to start there. Rashad Hill right now is penciled in as a starter, probably because of veteran experience. Rookie Brian O'Neill is second, and Storm Norton's listed as third, but again, I don't think he's going to be the man there. I'm personally hoping that Brian O'Neill can win the job so Rashad Hill can be the team's swing tackle because I really like him in that reserve swing role. And I really want to see Brian O'Neill succeed as well. So my fingers are crossed there, but if it turns out to where Rashad Hill wins the job and they got to slide him over to left tackle if something happens over there and Brian O'Neill can step in, that's fine too. I just hope that those two guys, there's a lot riding on them.
Man, that's going to be it's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out because like we've mentioned plenty of times in recent weeks, the Vikings don't have an easy schedule the entire year, but that first stretch is going to be rough. So hopefully they can step in and just get it done immediately. Moving on to left guard, Nick Easton out with the injury for now, but we'll see. We'll give you guys updates as we hear more news about that next week. Tom Compton, he's a friend of Kirk Cousins, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, old roommate in Washington.
Best friends.
Yeah, I heard about him on one of Kirk Cousins' videos from Vikings.com. I think he was wired for sound, so that's where I remember the name from. Now it makes sense. He's at number 2 for left guard. Number 3 is Josh Andrews. And
world champion Josh Andrews, thank you.
Uh-oh. With what?
Philadelphia Eagles world champion Josh Andrews.
Oh. Give us all your knowledge so we can beat
Just like Super Bowl champion T-Jack.
Oh, dear sweet Jesus. That was a thing.
That is a thing.
So there's your competition at left guard. Like we said, we'll keep you updated on Nick Easton, but he's penciled in as a starter for now. Center, no surprise here, Pat Elflein, Cornelius Edison at number 2, and J.P. Quinn as the 3rd. So we'll keep you updated on Pat Elflein. He should be back week 1.
It's right guard we skipped.
Is it?
Yeah, because we got the right tackles listed under right guard. At right guard, we got Mike Remmers penciled in there. Right now, we're not too sure what his injury is and how severe that is, but hopefully we'll get more information on that as it comes along. Danny Isadora, a rookie last year who showed a lot of potential. Hoping to see more from him during the preseason to be able to step in and make some plays. I'm betting that we're going to see him get some first-team snaps. Then we got rookie Colby Gossett rounding out the right guard spot.
Yep, that was super confusing. What you mentioned, I could read and see, but it wasn't written down that way. So we had the right tackles underneath right guard, but there was no right tackles.
Yeah, we got it though.
Got it now. And you mentioned already Rashad Hill, Brian O'Neill, Storm Norton. That's the order right now that's penciled in for right tackle. So
yeah.
I'm not going to be too upset if Rashad Hill starts at right tackle. I wish that they would go with what they had originally lined up last year to start the season, but we've got a lot of good draft picks, and that's the name of the game. You got to switch them around and let them fight it out and see who ends up where. So
it's Mike Remmers with that big question mark right now because the Vikings did give him right tackle money and to move him inside, and now he's injured, and you're still not sure if he's going to be able to play at a high level at right guard or if they could bring in a younger or cheaper substitute to play the position. There's kind of a little bit of a question mark there, but we'll watch as that develops, see what happens.
Kyle, what were you going to say?
They could bring back in TJ Clemmings. Just pencil him in. Any opening.
All right. As they said, penalty box for saying that we should go get him.
Boone's a free agent.
They make a phone call to Joe Berger.
Boone is a free agent. Jari Evans is still out there. There are guys out there.
This is why it'd be so hard to be a coach. Do you call somebody off the street that you think might be past their prime, might have injury history, and then hope they figure it out in time for a game? Or do you just have to be bold and go with the guy that you've already had there that knows kind of the system?
I got a feeling Boone probably wouldn't return the phone call.
Probably not.
Yeah.
That's such a shame that didn't work out. Like, seriously, like as talented as he was, like I just thought that would have been that should have been a perfect fit for us.
We all did.
It's weird how on paper things look good. Like, oh, Mike Wallace is going to be great to stretch the field with the Vikings, and he gets here, and it doesn't quite work out that way.
Mm-hmm. You never know, man. Never know.
Let's get over to that Mike Zimmer defense. This is going to be a lot of fun to see shake out. There's a very not PG-13 word. There's a ton of talent here on the defensive side.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to keep it PG here for you guys. The left defensive end, we have Daniil Hunter penciled in as the starter. Underneath him is Brian Robinson at number 2. 3, Adi Aruna, and then 4 is Jonathan Wynn. I'll be honest with you, I don't remember the last 2 guys. Those things don't sound familiar.
Well, Aruna's a rookie, so I don't expect you to know a lot from him yet, but hopefully he'll make an impression on you during the preseason.
That'd be fun. Nice to see.
Jonathan Wynn's pretty much a practice squad, camp body kind of guy, I think. Unless he can impress. You never know. Once you get that opportunity, some guys can just grab it, so who knows?
Mm-hmm. Good to see B-Rob taking the old man mentor role. He's going to be fresh and not playing, as a starter. He's just going to be able to jump in at times. We saw it last year. He can still play, so that's pretty cool.
Well, Everson Griffin went on record as saying that he wouldn't mind playing a fewer snaps for the Vikings to keep himself fresher, keep himself able to make more plays, and that would open up Brian Robinson to be able to have more plays or to bring in more rotational guys or even situational players. So this could mean that Brian Robinson is going to see the field a little more than some people think.
A good spot. That's a good point. Didn't think about that. Defensive tackle, good off-season acquisition. Sheldon Richardson, penciled in number 1. Fadi Odenigbo at number 2, and then Jalen Holmes is listed 3rd at D tackle.
Talent. That's a lot of talent you just listed.
Yeah.
Jalen Holmes, he has been pretty impressive. I think from what I saw during training camp, I liked what I saw from him. And anytime you got a rookie that you can take that high in the draft, and he's got production, he's got talent, and he's got Mike Zimmer to help develop it. That's dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about that defensive tackle spot. I'm not going to lie. Mm-hmm. Moving right beside to nose tackle, we got Big Goon, Mr. Lindenball Joseph, Jaleel Johnson right under him, David Perry at 3, and then Curtis Cothran at 4.
This is where things get interesting because Jaleel Johnson was used a lot opposite Linval Joseph when those other players were going down with injuries at the defensive tackle spot. And I think he's a much more natural fit to back up Linval as that bigger bodied defensive tackle to kind of sub in there and take up space. So I think this is a much better spot for him.
That's awesome. There's a lot of talent there too. Man, this defense is it's almost unfair. We already mentioned for the right defensive end, Everson Griffin. Below him, we have Stephen Weatherly and Tashawn Bauer. They're going to duke it out for that other spot. Maybe they'll get to keep all 3. I'm not sure, but Stephen Weatherly was good whenever he got to plug in.
Yeah, the Vikings seem really comfortable with Stephen Weatherly. They've brought him in on the main roster a couple times now, left Bauer to kind of develop a little bit. And to be honest, so far, Bauer has had some explosive plays that make you wonder why the Vikings haven't tried him a little bit more. But they're bringing him along slowly, and with the talent the Vikings have on defense, it might be a little bit of a problem trying to get him involved.
I just keep looking at this too, of all these bodies and having to pick all these guys who's gonna make the roster or not. Man, it's gonna be tough.
It's a good problem to have, trying to figure out how to use all that talent.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to the linebacking core. At will linebacker, we have Ben Gedeon, solid player for the Vikings. Eric Wilson is below him at number 2. Number 3, free agent Rashard Clyett. and then Mike Needham at 4.
At that night practice, Eric Wilson had a pick 6 on Kirk Cousins, which was pretty fun.
Wow, you don't see those highlights on Twitter anywhere.
Gee, I wonder why not.
Yeah, he ran that all the way back. You should have seen how excited everyone was for him. It was fantastic.
That's awesome.
Ben Gedeon, again, the Vikings spend a lot of time in nickel, so he doesn't see the field a ton. But as a starter, he's been doing a pretty solid job. He hasn't been making a lot of mistakes, and for a young player, that's all you can really ask.
Nice.
Middle linebacker, the one and only Eric Kendricks. Love him as Kentrell Brothers. Isn't he suspended for the first 4 games?
He is suspended for the first, I don't know how many games, but I know it's a number.
Dummy.
Damn it. All right. Yeah, I remembered seeing his name for that. So the guys that I'm about to list might have a chance. I doubt it, but we'll see, to knock him out of that spot. Devontae Downs, draft pick from this year, and Brett Taylor that I've never heard before. So Devontae Downs, this is your time to shine, sir.
It's true.
All right. Sam linebacker, Anthony Barr, number 1, no surprise there. Antoine Williams at 2, and then Garrett Dooley at the 3rd spot.
One of the things that was nice from that night practice was seeing Anthony Barr come out all wearing his stuff, ready to perform with the team. After hearing all those weird rumors that, the Vikings are trying to trade him, he's holding out, and there was everything going around. It was like, this is all just unsubstantiated stuff floating around. So to see Anthony Barr come out and to have Mike Zimmer talk about Anthony Barr the way he has, it really kind of affirms that, the Vikings are serious about bringing Anthony Barr back. Anthony Barr is serious about returning to the Vikings. This isn't something that is deteriorating or there seems to be any bad blood. Just having him on the field kind of meant a lot.
Yeah, I'm starting to believe when Mike Zimmer says something, it's probably the truth, especially after today when he's like, hey, why don't you tweet that? That's pretty good. All right, let's get into the secondary. Left corner, the starter is Trey Waynes. This is an interesting 3 combo here. Trey Waynes, Terrence Newman, and Mike Hughes. Not to leave out the last 2 guys fighting for a spot, Horace Richardson and Trevin Mathis.
Horace Richardson's another one of those guys that's always here. And I always want to see a little more from him. And he's impressive enough for the Vikings to keep bringing him back and giving him looks and trying to stash him on the practice squad every once in a while. But as I've said before at other positions, the Vikings are loaded at corner, and it's going to be a huge challenge for him to grab a spot.
Man, yeah. I'm making my prediction in my head right now. It's just going to be hard. And then moving on to right cornerback, there's another guy that's been lighting it up, or at least I've heard he's been lighting it up. Let's go down the list here. Xavier Rhodes, obviously number 1. Mackenzie Alexander at 2. Marcus Sherrills at 3. Holton Hill has been making a little bit of a buzz from what I heard. And Craig James.
Right now, I think this is another case of the veteran getting the nod above the youngster. Marcus Sherrills, of course, as we're going to see a little bit later, is listed on the top of the return teams. So he could earn a spot based on his special teams play because, let's be honest, his cornerback play probably isn't going to earn him a spot above Holton Hill.
No.
So,
are we done saying that he's never going to get kicked off the team, or are we still going to say that again and get proved wrong?
Every year I'm going to talk about how he's going to have to keep fighting, and every year he's going to probably prove me wrong.
Yeah.
he's like a cat. He's a cat with 9 lives when it comes to us, man.
I mean, I'm telling you. And he's even down here in special teams. I'll talk about that in a minute, too. He's still down there. He's going to back on the team again when we keep writing him up.
He's falling off a cliff. He's falling off a cliff, and you see the splatter, and then, like, you turn around, and then he comes through the door like, hey, guys.
It's a good analogy. That's correct.
Like Jason from Friday the 13th, man. You can do whatever you want. He just keeps coming.
Right.
Sergio Moreno in the chat has nothing but respect for how Barr is team first, unlike Aaron Donald from the Rams.
Yeah.
That's a shot, but yeah, Aaron Donald. Yeah, didn't we talk about this?
We did. We spoke about this last week.
Yeah, and pretty much, yeah. Kyle Smith said that basically Aaron Donald is, according to his reps or whatever, is not going to even take a foot on the field unless he gets money.
He's willing to lose an acquired year in the NFL to prove his point that he deserves to get paid.
In his defense, he is the defensive player of the year. And if they're not going to pay you, then you're just going to have to make them pay you. Unfortunately, that's the way it's set up, too. And that's another thing we can talk about on a completely different show for another day. But this whole CBA and the way that the NFL and the NFL Player Association works, it's completely screwed. It's so stupid.
It's what the players negotiated and signed for.
It's true.
They need it themselves, but they've got to get it right the next time around because this is a never-ending cycle. The never-ending cycle of hearing. I'm tired of hearing about contracts. Oh, man, is this guy going to be there? Just take care of your guy and figure out a process that works for both ways because the Rams aren't going to be the same if he's not there. That's
one thing I like about the Vikings. They're taking care of their people, whether it's on the football field, in the front office, and management with the executives, whoever. If there's someone in the organization that's important to them, they're letting them know.
Yep.
Right. Well-oiled machine. But real quick, going back to Aaron Donald real quick, from what I heard, he's looking for quarterback money, not, from his position. He's looking for top dollar like Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady. Like, he's looking for that type of money. And do you give that to him? Like, regardless of him balling out?
Not going to pay anybody quarterback money, but a quarterback that's named Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, or Tom Brady. I'm not paying anybody like that. If I'm a GM,
he could get Albert Haynesworth money.
Oh God, no. You can make it. You could definitely make it the richest, D lineman contract in history. But if it's quarterback money, yeah, I hope you got a total gym at your house to stay in shape.
Michael Cambry in the chat says Newman worries him. He could see him getting burnt a lot. And Newman, of course, at his advanced age, we'll say to be politely, for a cornerback in the NFL, he's father time pushing against the years that have been on him. But Newman, I don't think you're going to see him being put in spots where he was last year when injuries kind of hurt the team a little bit. I don't think you're going to see him matched up against Ted Ginn anymore because that was horrible.
Oh my God!
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's one reason why the Vikings went out and they got Mackenzie Alexander and they went out and they got Mike Hughes. They're getting these younger players that can take care of business. And for Newman to come back and play that veteran role and kind of teach these youngsters for another year, I think that's going to go a long way. And I don't think we're going to see Newman on the field nearly as much as we did the last couple of years. But still, I think you're going to see the Terrence Newman effect ripple through the team.
Wikipedia says he's 39. Is that accurate?
I think
he turns 40 this year, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, September 4th, according to this.
Yep.
Yeah, he's 40 before the season starts. That sucks.
He's the Brett Favre of the defense.
He really is. He's an Iron Man.
Yeah,
and when you read about everything he does to keep his body in shape, it's no surprise that he's still on the field. He takes his longevity and his health seriously.
I was reading somewhere that he took offense to a quote where they called him just a coach on the field. And he was like, I'm not here to just be a coach on the field. I'm here to play and make plays.
He can make plays.
Interception from a corner.
Yeah, he still makes
a long time last year. That crazy one, I think it was against the Bengals or the Packers, where it went underneath his leg and he did
I just don't want to see him matched up against Antonio Brown. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we're in that weird spot here where Trey Waynes is a little inconsistent, but we're okay. We'll have him opposite on the other side of Xavier Rhodes. But after that, if either one of them goes down, are we ready to thrust Mackenzie Alexander? Do you want to put an old Terrence Newman? I don't want a brand new Mike Hughes out there. So,
well, the NFL is so weird because you've got slot receivers who can just burn you with that speed. Then you've got your tight ends who are 6'8" out there catching crazy passes.
Right.
I mean, the matchups that offenses in the NFL present these defenders with these days. Terrence Newman, he's what, 5'10", 5'11", something like that.
That's what I'm somebody like
5'10".
Yeah, he is not a big-bodied man. He's not, as speedy as he used to be. He's not as nimble as he used to be, but he's got that football smartness that lets him know where he's got to be, how he can get there, and he knows how to anticipate moves from the offense. So Newman isn't going to win a lot of foot races against these younger players with just blazing speed. He's not going to be out physicaling a Gronk for a jump ball. That's not going to happen. But I think that he can be solid when asked, and he can definitely close those windows, especially for the younger and more inexperienced quarterbacks in the league. And Terrence Newman's experience can definitely do a number on a quarterback that isn't exactly NFL established.
He reminds me a lot of when Antoine Winfield was at the end of his career, and you would have thought that Winfield would have been time to call it quits, but he was still out there making plays and was still a vital part of the defense, clear on up until the very end with him, and that's the same way with Terrence Newman. I think that Mike Zimmer would have absolutely loved to coach Antoine Winfield. That would have been an awesome coach-player combination.
Well,
right
Trey Waynes pretty much is the new Antoine Winfield.
Yeah, just
that tackle and fuel, man. Trey Waynes tackles the same way that Winfield did. A sure tackler, decent in coverage. Antoine Winfield, he did a solid job trying to cover people, but he was never a shutdown guy.
No.
He was consistent.
Nope.
Right.
That was a great reference, by the way. That was fantastic.
Yeah, but you could blitz Antoine off the edge, and he could go after a quarterback, or he could hit a running back and make a play like no other. That's what was fun to watch him from a little corner. That he was fun to watch.
I don't think they're going to ask Waynes to do that a lot, because I think they'd rather have Harrison Smith or Anderson Dejo up there busting through, because those guys, wow.
Let's transition to those guys. We took a minute on the corners here. So strong safety, we have Andrew Sandejo penciled in. Below him, J-Ron Curse. Trey Matthews is rounding out strong safety at number 3. And across from them, free safety Harrison Smith. Anthony Harris behind Harrison Smith, and then Jack Tocho rounding out the safeties.
This preseason, I still want to keep an eye on Trey Matthews, because I really do think he's going to make some plays and shine, and he's going to make it tough on that Vikings front office and coaching staff as to whether or not to cut him.
Think he's better than J-Ron Curse?
I don't know. I think it's going to be whether to keep 4 or 5, and I think if they keep 4, the Trey Matthews is going to be the odd man out. But I've seen a lot from this kid. I've watched some of his tape. I like him.
Nice. Moving on to special teams, Ryan Quigley is the penciled-in punter. They still don't have a decision made yet, as we suspected, between Kai Forbath and Daniel Carlson at kicker.
But we know how that's going to turn out.
We're pretty confident.
Yeah.
Unless Carlson folds, it's going to be him, I believe. Forbath, of course, is going to go out there, do his job, be a professional. And I do believe that whichever one gets cut, whether it's Forbath or Carlson, they're going to get picked up by another team.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there were some struggles on some teams last year with kickers, so I'm sure they'll find a job, whoever that odd man out is.
Absolutely.
Kevin McDermott is a long snapper. Kick returner, we have Marcus Sherrill's number 1, Mike Hughes, and Stacey Coley.
Same thing for punts, huh?
And shocker here, the same thing for punt returns.
From what I've been reading, though, and from what I've seen during camp, they've been splitting a lot between Marcus Sherrill and Mike Hughes on the kick returns. So I wouldn't be shocked to see Hughes doing kicks and Sherrill doing punts during the preseason.
Yeah. That's kind of what I expect, too. I think one of them is going to take one position, the other one will take the other position. That's how this is going to shake out.
And that's all, again, based on whether or not Marcus Sherrill makes the roster. But I do believe that Sherrill's coverage in units is going to be tough to pass up. I think those special teams ace players oftentimes get ignored so much when it comes to rosters, because people want to get the players that are kind of talented at other positions, like on offense or defense, and the importance of special teams kind of slips through the cracks.
I'm Googling it right now. I believe he leads Pro Football Reference, kicks and punt returns. Let's look at this. I want to see who leads the punt returners there, because Marcus Sherrills is he's done crazy stuff as a punt returner for us. It's almost unfair.
The Vikings have had a pretty good history of having good returns lately. Of course, a lot of that had to do with when Cordero Patterson was here and when Percy Harvin was doing returns, just those dynamic players that were able to do what they could. When they tried Jerick McKinnon back there, that was interesting. but I think they're trying to find another long-term answer.
Any luck over there, Mr. Smith?
I'm looking at this can't be right. This can't be right. I'm looking at the yards, the touchdowns, whatever. He leads for touchdowns because everybody has one, and he's the only person with two.
Are we looking at punt returns?
Yeah. I feel like he's had more touchdowns or punt return for touchdowns than just two.
Not last year. I don't think he returned one to the house last year, did he?
No, I'm thinking of years past. Right now they have him at 15 as the
I do believe that he has the Vikings franchise record for punt return yards. I do believe that is the case. But yeah, last year there were only a handful of players who scored a touchdown on kickoffs and punt returns. So last year, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 touchdowns scored for special teams. And that's a drastically lower number than it used to be in the past.
Yeah, the special teams unit definitely took a dive last year from what we're used to seeing. There's your love for Cordero Patterson there subtly.
Hey, he was one heck of a return man.
Was.
Punt returns, let's see, who do we got there? 2 for Jamal Agnew of Detroit, and then 1 for Travis Benjamin, Michael Campanaro, Bryce Callahan, Kalen Clay, Jaden Mickens, Ryan Switzer, Tariq Cohen, and, of course, Tyreek Hill. At Tyreek Hill, he is fast.
We don't have anything else in the notes. I don't think we had a social media question. We'll get back on track with those, guys. Apologize for that.
Yeah, we got to do a little bit more of that, but I think that we've done enough as far as previewing the game against the Broncos because we're going to do our traditional game ball donkey and all that for it next week. And probably next week we'll do a little bit more in-depth as far as a preview as well. I hope for the next preseason game number 2.
All right.
But I believe that the Vikings and Broncos preseason game, Saturday the 11th at 8 p.m. on NFL Network. You're going to want to tune into that and at least watch the starters do their thing. I enjoy watching the other guys that are trying to fight for a roster spot because you see so much heart and determination. It really is a lot of fun to watch these guys just give it their all and leave everything on the field, trying to do whatever they can to impress the coaching staff and even other teams that might be watching if they don't end up making the Vikings. Preseason is such a fun time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Saturday games are always a little... It's weird to watch NFL football on a Saturday, I think. But, hey, you know what? I'll find the time to sit down and do it and check out the Vikings. And like we said, there's a lot of depth and a lot of talent on this team. So I think that everyone should watch the full duration of the game.
I'm looking forward to actually doing my first game ball and donkey.
Yeah, that's right.
It's going to be cool.
A lot of our usual suspects as far as donkeys are gone now, though, so we're going to find some new people to pick on.
No more Matt Khalil.
No more Matt. God, what's his name? Tremaine Brock. He's Denver's problem.
Yeah.
He could very well end up being our game ball.
Mr. West, Sergio Moreno wants to know if we're going to be doing the Discord chat again.
Yeah, yes, I have to remember what the login information for that is, but we will get that going, and we will get that shared up on the page for you guys and join us. That was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun chatting with everyone last year.
And also, I'm going to be getting that Survival League up and running here soon. I'm going to be promoting that, so get as many people as you can in there because that's when it gets to be a ton of fun. I might just try renewing the league and sending out notifications to everyone that was in last year while trying to get a couple extra people to join in because why not, right?
Yeah, we'll be sure to promote both of those on our podcast page.
The more the merrier.
Absolutely. And we got to get Mr. Smith in to see if he can beat the record or at least tie it of being out in 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'm not very good at that. Regular fantasy football. I'm definitely going to try this year, though.
Oh, it is. It's a lot of fun. And I hope that you guys will sign up. And I hope that you guys check us out on all their places, iTunes, PodOMatic, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Player FM, Spreaker. You can really find us almost anywhere that you find podcasts. Or if you're on your Google machines, just type in Purple People Podcast. You'll find us on there. Or if you've got the Viking Age app on your phone, we always put it out, the Purple People Podcast episodes, as an article on there, and you'll get notified when that goes live. Of course, the most fun way to listen to us is to join us live, talk to us, ask us questions, interact with us, because that is why we go live, folks. That's why we do what we do.
Bread and butter, baby. Bread and butter.
Then you can be as cool as Yang Yash and be there right at the start of the show.
That's true. He's just hopping in here doing his thing, and we love that. We absolutely love that. Thanks to everyone who joined us in the chat: Sergio Moreno, Michael Cambria, Yang Yaj, Kyle Smith, whoever that guy is, and anybody else that hopped in to join us, and especially to those people that are watching live now but aren't chatting. We see you. It's okay. You don't have to talk. We enjoy having you here. You guys got anything you want to close with?
Nope. We'll get you all these updates and keep you posted and everything. Just go out this weekend, enjoy yourselves. If you can find a way to watch the Viking game, we'll cover that next week. But thanks to everybody who joined, and share us on your social media page so we can gain some more of your friends on here. That'd be great.
Yeah, the more people we can get in this chat, the more people that interact with us, the better. We can have a great show. We can talk about the topics you guys want to talk about, which is another reason why we love when you guys come in here and talk. Because if it's burning on your minds, I'm sure that we got some opinions about it, and it's going to be fun to talk about. So let's do that. Eric Grindall says that we're looking good, and thank you very much. I need a little bit of a haircut, maybe a little bit of a mustache trim, but I think I'm doing all right.
I think you're doing just fine.
You're good, brother. You're good.
Just need a little bit of style, you know. Thanks again, everyone, and remember to stay classy, Minnesota.